let me hold your hand when I say this. Give me your hand. Get a diary. Get a diary in 2025. Your best friend is not your diary. Actually, she's the one who told everyone you got work done. She's the one who told everyone how you lost that weight. She's the one who told everyone that he gave you that bag. You didn't buy that bag. You know, that cousin you keep sharing your business with, the people you have in your close friends, yeah, they're the ones who are telling people you could not pay your rent last month. They're the ones, because you keep sharing your business with everyone. We have to be mindful of the business we share. You have to be mindful of what business you share, and you're gonna find out today. You're gonna find out today. I'm gonna give you a beautiful list on things you need to stop sharing. All right? Things you need to zip, keep to yourself. Hey, this is Lexsa Marie, and welcome to another Pretty Girl Talk. I know you guys love this series. I love just sharing great advice that I wish I took and someone told me ahead of time, but you know what, it's okay. I live and I learn and I grow, and then I try to share some information with you guys. But this particular video is going to be for my yappers. It's gonna be for my girlies who maybe trusted their sis a little too much and their sis told all their business. This is gonna be for the girls who just don't know how to have boundaries, who don't know how to, you know, have a personal diary and just writing it. And it's no shade, because we've all been there. We've all been there, but you probably came on this video because it bit you in the, it bit you right in the, and it's okay. Sometimes that's just how we have to learn, but I'm going to give you a little bit more in terms of different things that I personally feel as a woman leveling up, bossing up, you know, stepping into her femininity, stepping into her era, into her, you know, top prime era. She needs to stop sharing. And I think some things that I'm going to say are going to make you feel like, damn, really? Damn, that's why, damn. That's what you're gonna have to do. And these are a lot of tips that people who've been doing it and who know the game won't tell you. But in this video in particular, I'm just going to tell you to save you from stress, to save you from, you know, having another bad day, from saving you from having to over-explain yourself or deal with judgment or negativity. This is gonna be the video that's gonna help you with that. So let's get into it. You already know I do hair, beauty, girl talks, and nursing content. I'm gonna put my, you know, my I'm on all platforms. I'm gonna put it down there. I just wanna get right into this video, all right? So let's talk about the things you need to stop talking about and why. The first thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is, and I think this is the most important thing, all right? The number one thing that you need to keep on lock and keep to yourself, bring it to the grave, is your insecurities and your vulnerabilities. Yep, we're starting there. And I'm going to try to say this in the best way. There are some people in my life that thankfully, you know, we haven't talked in years, but they were the type of friend that I know would bring things to the grave. And I'm the type of friend that will bring things to the grave. I'm not about to sit up here and truly expose people's business, truly expose people's, you know, deepest, darkest secrets, because that's not my character. However, unfortunately, I had a friend who was that type of person, is that type of person, and she knows a lot of things about me that I wish I never shared with her. And a part of me feels exposed because I did share my vulnerabilities. I did share my insecurities, you know, things that I was very vulnerable with her about, she knows. So now it's just kind of like in my mind, like, dang, like I'm kind of exposed. And I'm sure that's probably how you're feeling, right? You know, you've probably shared that, you know, with someone, you're really insecure about your weight, or you're really insecure about your skin. You're really insecure about your hair. You're really insecure about your teeth, maybe. You might be insecure about your upper lip, or whatever it is. Whatever you truly truly are insecure about, things that, you know, have given you a moment where you've probably broken down, gotten upset, like because you couldn't fix it or couldn't change it in the way that you wanted to change it. I get it. Like, we've all been there, you know, whether it's mistakes, whether it's secrets that you might have, like deep, dark secrets, like something you might have done and you're not proud of it, you know, things that you know, had to do a lot of learning from, you know, sensitive information about your health, about your well-being, things that like are like that, things that you possibly would feel judged for. You need to learn how to keep that to yourself. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when someone feels like you are perfect, when someone feels like you are perfect and you have everything going on and that you just have this unattainable energy, when they see those vulnerabilities and those insecurities, they run for them and they try to amplify them by 20. They might share it with this person. They might share it with that person. Anytime someone talks about you in a positive light, that person is going to turn around. Well, you know, she only got her body done. You know, she got a BBL. You know that she had to get surgery to get this, or you know that that's not her real hair. You know, that's actually a wig, right? You know that this is a wig, right? You know that she had to what do you call it? Go to the hospital and take medication and get that removed. People are crazy like that. People are crazy and mean and spiteful. Okay, so when you hear, and this is the best way to know, you know, when you have people around you that do that type of thing, listen to the other business that they share about their friends. And this didn't really sink in my brain until I removed myself from this person. They talked so much crap about their closest friends. About their closest friends. I knew all the ins and outs about their closest friends. Like things that I didn't even feel comfortable knowing. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself now, the hell, what does she share about my business with them? My insecurities, my flaws, my vulnerabilities. Do these people know? And I don't have a friendship with them. That was like constantly circling in my head for hours. I was like, wait, this person is probably sharing everything that they're judging me for. They are probably sharing it with this person. So that, number one, you should absolutely keep to yourself. And I don't care what you say, oh, I want to share and, you know, show my vulnerable side. No, It sounds good in theory, but a lot of things, especially on social media, if you are a content creator, you see those people will share their vulnerabilities and share, you know, sensitive moments, and it'll be thrown back in their face. And if you want to test it out, you can test it out. Try it with something very, very small. Like, let's say you make up an insecurity. Oh, I'm really insecure about my toenail. And my toenail and just how it looks and all this stuff. Let's say you're insecure about the toenail. If now people start to make fun of, spread rumors, or talk about your toenail because you said you're insecure about that, that should be your sign right there to stop sharing. Okay? So please, as you jump into this new spot, as you jump into your new era, don't feel uncomfortable with seeming unattainable. Don't feel uncomfortable with seeming too perfect. Don't try to relate so hard to the point where you're sharing things about yourself that you don't feel comfortable being judged about. You don't feel comfortable people commenting on, because that's what people are going to do. It's human nature, you know, especially a spiteful human. That's what they do. You know, a vicious, a mean-spirited human, that's what they tend to do. They tend to prey on your vulnerabilities, your insecurities. So if you want to protect it, if you want to protect your peace and protect your sanity, please don't share your most vulnerable moments, your most vulnerable secrets, you know, your insecurities with people that you don't trust, or people at all. You know, you could share with a therapist, or you could just write it down or talk to God. Those are my only 3 suggestions. The second thing that you should not be sharing with anyone is your goals, your plans, and your aspirations. Things that you want, things that you desire, things that you are, that not necessarily, not things that you already have, but things that you want to achieve or want to obtain. Stop sharing them. And you will learn with your discernment and time There's certain people you can tell, there's certain people you can't tell, and you'll figure that out once you have a better idea of your discernment. Because this is what people will do, right? If you share your goals, plans, and aspirations, they will copy you, they will imitate you, and they will send bad vibes your way and might even deter you from reaching that goal. All right, there was this particular person, right, who I told I really wanted to go to this country. I really wanted to go, really wanted to go. And they essentially told me, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, you shouldn't go. I don't think it's, appropriate. It's just bad timing. The weather's bad there. Basically convincing me not to go, right? And they started to place doubt on my spirit and doubt in my mind, even though that's somewhere I really wanted to see. Later that year, their birthday trip was at that same place. It was at that same place. And I said, oh, wow. Okay. The place that they told me not to go to ended up being their dream destination. So in that mini lesson, in that vague mini lesson, you need to understand that certain things that you haven't achieved yet, certain things that you haven't grasped on and booked and arrived and, did what you needed to do yet, you need to learn how to wait until you've already received the blessing. And, God knows it's coming. You know it's coming. You don't have to let everyone else know it's coming. They will see once you're there. All right. For example, the best thing that I would say now that I've started to doing, I don't announce when I have a trip. I don't announce when I've gotten a bonus or, I've gotten a brand deal. I don't announce when I've had success or I'm waiting to hear back from something. I just let the results show. Because one thing people will do is try to deter you from reaching these goals, try to push you away from, the potential that you could have, or even they'll copy you after telling you not to achieve it. So to avoid that, stop talking. And if you want to take it up a notch, and this is controversial and you can argue with your bundles, you can, I love, there's a YouTuber on here that says the funniest thing. She was like, you can argue with that ring around your bathtub. Like, she says the funniest stuff. But in this scenario, I'm gonna take it up a notch. If you really don't want people to know your plans, but you have to give an answer, just lie. Just throw a white lie. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just looking at some stuff. I'm just browsing. You could be booking a flight right there. They don't need to know. Oh, are you going on a trip? Where are you going? See, I don't even know yet. I don't know how I feel. And I think too, my mom told me to just keep things vague, because when you tell people your specific plans, they might end up copying those plans. They might, try to speak negative energy around those plans, become a monitoring spirit when it comes to those plans and seeing if it progresses or fails. Just keep it vague, because they won't know what to pray against. They won't know what to wish negativity on. But once you've already achieved it, there's nothing that they can say. There's nothing that they can say besides, wow, oh wow, she went there. At that point, they would just be reaching. So keep your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your plans to yourself. Keep your love life private. Keep your love life private. And I feel like I always say this, and it's starting to get cliche and repetitive. I learned all these things the hard way, and that's why I'm coming on here now, hopefully to touch one of you beautiful ladies, so it can reach one of you beautiful ladies, and you can hear me when I say this. Stop sharing your love life on social media. Stop sharing your love life with your best friend. Stop sharing your love life with even your mother even. Stop sharing it, because things that you feel are sensitive or vulnerable, you need to keep to yourself. And let me give you this small example. I shared with a friend, I'm not gonna say when, I'm not gonna say where, I'm gonna keep it vague just for the sake of the lesson. This friend doesn't really date that much, doesn't really have guys talking to her that much, hasn't really had much experience when it comes to dating. And I realized in reflection that I was sharing a lot about my experiences dating, and you know, just how I went about dating, how I kind of was taught to go about dating. And everyone does it differently. Some people date one person at a time, some people date multiple people at a time, some people don't date at all and don't experience that. But I was sharing particularly how I was dating, and I shared about one experience that I had with a guy that I guess maybe liked her photo or followed her or something. I had no idea, but it became a whole ordeal because this guy had asked me out and, you know, went above and beyond for me. And I was just telling her, and it became way bigger than what it was. Like, oh wow, but didn't you know that I was doing this and I was doing that? And I just feel like when it comes to it turned into something so much greater. And when listening to what they were really saying and how they were describing me, I learned that this person doesn't date how I date. Therefore, their judgments and their perception on me is flawed, right? And I learned that if I just didn't share with them, particularly how I went about dating, you know, how I was able to find mates, how I'm able to, you know, maybe move on or do my thing, none of this would have been an issue. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I tend to stay away from sharing how I move on social media, because not everyone dates the same. There's people who post, you know, hypergamous lifestyles, and, you know, they're dating, you know, men that are in their 50s to 60s and being spoiled and just showered with, you know, gifts and love and all that. And that works for them. There's some people who share their 50-50 lifestyle and share how it's a group effort and they work as a team in their relationships, blah, 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 and that works for them. There's some people who, you know, just share a lot about their relationships, and it just varies from person to person. And I feel like with me, when it comes to my commentary and my perspective on dating, I just learned I have to keep it to myself, because if I do share it and someone doesn't agree, for example, my former friend, they will just judge you. Like if they don't do roster dating, for example, and you roster date and you might date one guy this week, another guy next week, just for example, they might judge you and say, oh, well, she's you know what? She's a this, she's a that, she's a this, she's a that. Not understanding that from your perspective, you understand men do the same thing. Therefore, it's no different when you do it. So to shorten this, don't share much about your love life. Don't share the positives. Don't share the negatives. Don't share, you know, every single detail about your date. Don't share your whereabouts, because sometimes, and it's unfortunate to say, when it comes to men, women get jealous about the dumbest things. Women get in their feelings about the craziest things. And you're better off protecting your peace, their peace, and your partner, you and your couples, you and your relationships peace, if you just don't share with them. And this is something that I really had to work on, because I wasn't sharing it with everybody, but you know, I would talk about my dates to my close friends. I would share with, you know, a couple of my close girlfriends, and I realized those were some of the things that I was doing that was bringing a lot of negativity. And also people were judging me or getting entertainment out of it when they say that they're supporting me. So after getting that experience and listening to that experience, I was like, you know what? There's just some people that don't need to know anything and don't need to know certain things about me. And I'm glad that I've moved in the way that I am, because I feel like I've had happier situations and just better outcomes. I feel way more at peace now. But I mean, this could apply even to you. Not everyone needs to know your philosophy with dating. All right, not everyone needs to know that you've gone on 10 dates with this guy and this, that, and the third. Not everyone needs to know about your catastrophic breakup, because that's another thing as well that's very normalized in our generation. We love to get entertainment on quote unquote messy TikTok. And my issue with messy TikTok is that people think because they've gotten 10 million views and 2 million likes that they're now this celebrity, and you know, everyone's gonna treat them different because they went viral on TikTok. You went viral on TikTok because you shared how your man cheated on you, or how you crashed out and, you know, burned his car, whatever. Now 10 million people have heard you are unhinged. Okay, and I'm just keeping it a beam with y'all. You need to understand the image that you put out there is the way that you will be perceived. And reputation is everything. So if you want to take the risk just to have some notoriety, to share your personal business, to share other people's personal business, to share about your relationships, there's going to be men that probably wanted you and thought, you know, oh, she's cute. But the fact that you're sharing your business like that will turn them away and deter them from wanting to deal with you, because not only are you, you know, sharing personal business, but it's the content of what you're sharing. You're choosing to be messy. So I learned that as well, you know, just messy TikTok in general with, you know, doing the doxing and sharing about friends, sharing about relationships, sharing about guys. It's not worth it in the long run. Yes, you'll have a viral moment, but that's all that it is. It's a moment. You know, people don't stick around unless they continue to see more mess to listen to what you have to say. So just don't fall into that, you know. Please, 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 if it's you not sharing with friends, just don't share online. Keep those things to yourself. Go to therapy or talk to God. I'm gonna keep saying the same things because we need to really understand that not everyone needs to know every single thing. Stop sharing your random thoughts or things that you are contemplating that may not be positive or negative, right? And sometimes, I'll just be honest with you guys, sometimes I have thoughts and like, I would never ever act on them. Like, I'll say, you know what? You know, I should just go over there and just tell him I'm da-da-da. Like, especially if it's in the moment, like if I'm sharing those type of thoughts, meanwhile, I know I'd never do it. You know, sometimes when you're telling people, oh, like, I'm just gonna cut up all these things and I'm just gonna write him a paragraph and do all that, da-da-da. And it's things that you haven't done yet, but it's negative things that you are contemplating. Some people will hold on to that longer than you. You know, they'll hear you talk about a situation, or they'll see you contemplate to do something that might be a little like, girl, what you talking about? And because you didn't keep it to yourself or keep it internal, you might not let it linger, but they're going to let it linger and probably low-key judge you after the fact. And I feel like we've all might have had that experience where, you know, we've told a friend, oh, I think he's fine. Like, oh my gosh, like if I wasn't talking to him, you know what I'm saying? If it was back in the day, you know, little cute stuff like that. And, you know, one friend might go, yeah, girl, like he is cute, whatever. And just, we know we're going to keep it pushing. But some people, especially people that purposely try to misunderstand you, which is a whole nother conversation. People who purposely try to misunderstand you or look for flaws in you, look for things that are wrong in you, they might listen to that and say, oh wow, so you would go off and do this with your man and do that against this and do that against that. Like, girl, no, like it was just a thought. And it's just better if you just don't say anything to anybody at all, especially if you know you're not gonna act on it. So definitely, I'm gonna keep this one short. If you have a random thought or an intrusive thought, because my intrusive thoughts get to me all the time. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I go, I wonder what would happen if I like press that button right there. You know, just like random stuff. And I might just be thinking about it and then just go off with my day. I'm definitely that girl. However, you need to learn how to start talking to yourself, start journaling, start keeping things up here, because not everyone needs to hear what your, you know, deepest, darkest thoughts are. Especially if you're like me, where you have the most crazy random thoughts. The next thing you need to stop sharing and telling everyone is your availability. Ooh-wee, 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 ooh-wee. Baby girl, do you really need to tell them you're free this Friday? No. Okay. And again, you can argue with your crusted lace fronts. Sorry, I love Chloe. You can argue with your crusted lace front. Start lying. Like, there's days, especially as a nurse, where I am off, but I'm not free. And I don't want to be bothered by anyone. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want them to come over. And I think sometimes people think because you're free, that means that they can come and be in your space and they can come and, you know, occupy your time. And me being more introverted, you know, only child, whatever, sometimes I just like my me time. I love just spending time in my own company. I'm comfortable with my own presence, my own time. And some people tend to take offense when you're like, oh, like, no, actually, I just don't want to hang out. Like, yeah, I'm off, but I just don't want to hang out with you. Some people take offense to that. And instead, I've just gotten to a point where it's like, oh, I got a couple things going on. Or, oh, I got to run some errands. Or, oh, I'm exhausted, like I have to take a nap. Like I'll just come up with something. And, you know, I could actually be going on a little solo date, or I could be, you know, watching Netflix or chilling or just doing absolutely nothing. But you have to get to a point where you're not telling everyone your availability / free time. And this kind of goes into my next topic. I was going to make this a whole nother bullet point, but they kind of correlate. Stop telling people your next move. Okay. So not only your availability, but your next move. So your in the moment whereabouts. This is for my girlies who worry about safety. I am very weird when it comes to safety. Like I had a situation where I was talking to this guy. I met him at a rooftop bar. Very nice gentleman or whatever. And we kind of kicked it off. But when I was texting him after the fact, I just kind of felt like a weird vibe from him. So I didn't want to continue talking to him. However, I had told him stupidly the gym that I go to, right? I told him the gym that I go to because he said, oh yeah, I go to X, Y, and Z gym. And I said, wait, the one over by such and such? And he said, yeah, the one over by such and such. And I said, oh wow, I go there too. He's like, I've never seen you. And mind you, you might think this is an innocent conversation. Now I realize I was setting myself up for this nonsense. So he said, yeah, I never see you there. Like I'm literally there almost every single day. And I was like, yeah, I don't like to go during the hot hours. I go at the off season, you know, the off time. And he was like, off time? I was like, yeah, you know, midday when the, you know, all the tech guys want to go work out, all the guys who are retired, they work out, you know, they're not, you know, going in there to act or to flex and stuff. I don't like when people are in the gym and flexing and things like that. So I said, I usually go like when the girlies who work in tech, you know, they have their little lunch break, you know, it's not as crowded. And he said, oh, okay. So he found out that I go midday. So once I stopped talking to him and I stopped reaching out, next thing you know, I post my little gym outfit, right? And then I didn't post I was in the gym yet, but normally like what I did before, I would post my gym outfit before I went to the gym. Now I just post it randomly because people just starting to link things up. But I posted my gym outfit before I went to the gym, and 20 minutes later that man was in the gym. He had watched my story, so I know it was linked. He had watched my story, then he ended up in the gym. And he somehow made his way over to me and said, hey, like, how you been? Like, I haven't heard from you. I was like, what the heck? What the heck? So from that, I learned and I became super paranoid. I cannot let people know my next move. Like, you will not know when I'm out, when I'm leaving the country, when I'm coming back. You will not know when I'm going to the grocery store, when I'm coming back. You guys will find out delayed. And what I started to do, and I'm starting to be more consistent with, is delaying my posts, delaying my whereabouts, like telling people after the fact, once I've already left, like, oh yeah, I went to here, here, and here, or oh, I'm at here, but really I'm home. Or I'll post, oh, I'm at this rooftop lounge, but that was last week. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'll try to mix it up so people really can't, you know my whereabouts, or I just won't post at all. Like, I will not post anything at all. So please be mindful about sharing where your whereabouts are, especially if you're going overseas or you're traveling by yourself, or you know, you do things by yourself a lot, because people will try to get you caught up, you know. Like, rest in peace to one of my favorite artists, Pop Smoke. He was not mindful. He was not, you know, he was posting his next move. He was posting his address. He was posting things that, and I'll get into the next topic when we I'll get there about the whole address thing. But he was posting a lot in terms of his whereabouts. So in that sense, like, same thing with PNB Rock. He was posting his whereabouts. His girl was posting his whereabouts. Y'all have to stop doing that. Like, if you're at the club, you don't need to post. Not everyone needs to see that you're at the club. And this is a thing that you can do as well, and I actually like doing. I take pictures like on my regular camera, and then once I get home, then I'll post like, oh, this is where I was, or this is what we were doing. So it's like, it's already archived and already saved, and then like I've already left the spot, so it doesn't even matter. Like, you can't even link me. So I would definitely say that as a tip. Like, instead of just posting directly on like Instagram or TikTok, just make a video and then go back and then post. The next thing that you need to stop sharing is your personal business. And everyone's different with how they use social media. I'm coming from a perspective where I, you know, want to have a large following, want to, you know, garner a certain like amount of attention and type of attention, and you know, have a decent audience. Therefore, there's certain things I share and there's certain things I don't share. But I know sometimes because people feel like they're not IG baddies or IG famous or whatever, it doesn't really matter. This is just my take, coming from the type of family I come from. Like, my family does not play about privacy. Don't share your full government name. Don't share your address, where you live. Don't share, you know, your phone number. Don't share your movements, like I said before, like things that you're posting. Don't share your personal business. Some people feel so comfortable giving out their phone number. It's bananas. Like, I personally, I have a number that's just for giving people when I go out. Like, it's just for giving people when I go out. Like, if I meet you and I'm not too sure about your vibe, I give you my business contact. I have a whole nother number now. Like, I give people my business number that I'm not too sure, or I just want to speak business. And then like my personal, like my family, my friends, they have my other number. That's how I've been able to kind of separate the two. And it's actually been helpful, at least for me, to kind of separate the two. Same thing, like your whereabouts, where you live. Stop showing people, you know, the ins and outs of where you live. Like, I never actually did a apartment tour, just because I've seen videos where girls have shown their apartment tours and people have mapped out the layouts of their place in order to figure out where they live. And I think that's absolutely insane. Like, someone had made a comment like, oh, like, you know, how did you get your studio apartment? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't have a studio, baby. I have a 1-bedroom. What are you talking about? But because I never show the layout of my place, people think I just have a studio apartment. Just different things like that, your address, you know, your whereabouts. Stop sharing your personal business, your full government name, you know, your family's government names. Like, there's just certain things that people do not need to know. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how, you know, information gets stolen. That's how information gets stolen. That's how people can, you know, track you down, especially crazy people. So just be careful, especially if you want to start posting more online, about the certain things that you're sharing, the things you're putting in the background. You know, are you posting where you live and like you can see like a building in the background? People are crazy. Like, there was a time where I saw someone post a video on Instagram, and this is when I was a little crazy. I was like, where the heck is this person? Like, I really wanted to know the hotel that they were staying in, because it was so nice. And I saw further down that there was like a what do you call it, like a little store. It was like a little trendy store. I think it was in Canada. And I looked up the store on Canada, and then I just turned it around on Google. And this is how, I'm not saying I'm crazy, but I really wanted to know what the hotel was so I can go to the hotel. And I turned around on Google and I was like, oh my God, that's the hotel. Because when I then looked up the name, after like turning around on like the street Google view, I was like, oh wait, these are the rooms. Like, that's actually nice, da da da. But it's really that easy, because they showed like the outside view and all that. I was able to get all that information. So when I realized that and said that, I said, dang, I got all the information just by doing that. Like, oh my gosh, like, let me make sure I don't, you know, post too much, especially when I'm out, you know, about where I'm sleeping and all that type of stuff, because people are crazy. Like, you know, me, it was innocent and I just wanted to get the hotel deets, but some people, they might do that and try to track you down. So like I said, just do not share your personal business. The next thing that you need to be keeping to yourself is your money / finances, your resources, and clout. All right, I put that all together because I feel like they all apply. I don't tell people how much I make anymore. Like, I kept it general because I was like making a video one time and I was like, oh, like how to make 6 figures as a blah, 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 blah. But specifically, this pertains to more about content creation, right? And I've gotten this question so many times. How much do you make as a content creator? How much can you make as a content creator? And I never tell anyone how much. And my mom actually told me this, because the thing is, people will try to, you know, look at the things that you can spend and look at how you use your money in order to estimate how much you make. And I actually had a friend do this to me one time, and I called her out on it because I was like, why are you pocket watching me? You know, at the time, my YouTube, my YouTube was like blowing up. Like, I had so many views and I was getting a lot of money. And I said, oh my gosh, like, this is so good. And like, I don't remember how much it was at the time, but it was enough for me to kind of, you know, support myself and, you know, do my thing while in college. So when I was doing that, she's like, you know, how much are you getting? Like she was trying to figure out how much I was getting from it, and like yeah, basically how much I was getting from it, and I never told her. And I think that caused like a lot of issues like in our relationship, because I was like, girl, why are you watching my pocket? She's like, can you afford that? Like, can you even pay for that? Like, how could you even pay for that? Don't tell people how much you make. Don't tell people, you know, what you're charging. Don't tell people all that type of stuff. Let your results just show. And if you really need to, just lie. Be vague and lie. Like when someone says, oh, how much do you make as a content creator? You know, it's pretty good. Like, it's actually pretty good for me. Like, it works for me. You know, just keep it vague. Like, keep it so it's like, if they really have to just ask explicitly and say, well, can you give me a number? If they have to do that, then you can say, well, that's kind of rude. Don't you think that question is a little too personal? You know, things like that. Like, then you can use that. But if they're not asking super directly, you don't have to tell them. Also, too, about clout, off rip, I hate telling people I make content, all right? Like, you guys know I make content because I love y'all. But when it comes to, and I'll just keep it a bean, when it comes to my work, like what I do outside of here or dating, baby, they find out by accident. they find out way later. You know, I don't lead at all with my social media presence at work, because I'm working. Like what does that have to do with work? But when it comes to dating, for me, I've had crazy experiences with men where I would go on a date and, you know, we didn't really share social media yet, and they would ask my social media and I'm like, okay, you know, I kind of pause, and they say, oh, like, what is it? Like, do you have an OnlyFans or something? Like, they ask me something crazy like that. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't have my OnlyFans. I'm just, you know, I don't like the mixed reviews that I get. I like to say the mixed reviews, because one time there was a guy that saw my Instagram and saw my like social media and saw that it was like blowing up at the time. And I thought he wanted to really talk to me, but in actuality, he wanted to be my fake boyfriend. He told me, I want to pretend to be your boyfriend so we can make content. I was like, oh, okay. And he wanted to mooch off of what I was doing, my motion, instead of actually genuinely have a relationship. So I was like, okay. So now I kind of just, you know, let's see how the guy really feels. Like, is he really feeling me? Is he not? Because sometimes when they see my social media, they'll just judge me and say, oh, she's just this, she's just that, or they'll try to benefit off of me. So, you know, if you are someone who's trying to build like a following, or maybe you post a lot about, you know, how to do hair, how to do this or whatever, and it's starting to blow up, just be mindful that sometimes it'll attract people who want to mooch off of you. Like, not even thinking about relationships, like even friends. I've had friends like literally befriend me because of my social media, and then once they're not interested in being my friend anymore, they try to tear my social media down. Like, when I really thought about that, I'm like, you wanted to be my friend for clout, and now that I'm not cool with you anymore, you're now using my clout against me, you know, my quote-unquote clout. Also too, like, I've had girlfriends, or not girlfriends, but like I've had acquaintances, you know, always tag me, like always tag. Every time we hang out, they have to like squeeze my face. They're trying to squeeze a picture of me, squeeze a picture, you know, out with this girl, out with Lexsa, out with Lexa Marie, and I'm just like, guys, I'm regular. Like, I'm a regular chick. All right, we regular, you know? And I realized that, and I peeped that. So I'm like, now I try to be a little bit more slow in terms of building relationships and building friendships with people, because I hate feeling like people, and I don't want to sound like I'm about to cry. I'm a little sick, but I hate feeling like people use me to occupy a space to like make them look better, you know? Because sometimes it's a little hurtful. It's like, damn, like I thought you really wanted to be my friend, but instead, you know, you want to like learn how to grow on Instagram, or learn how to, you know, grow your TikTok, or you just want to say, you know, this person who has a big following. Like, it's like, people think it's cute, but it's actually hurtful, at least to me, especially someone that wants to like have more genuine relationships. So if you are someone that's like trying to grow your platform or whatever, or even like in other ways, like you just have good clout in the neighborhood, you have good clout in your city, like people know you in your city, don't tell everyone that you have that juice. All right, just let let them kind of show you who they are, and then you can tell them as time goes on. But hopefully this video was very helpful for you guys. I think that at the end of the day, you gotta talk to God, journal, or talk to yourself. That is the answer to all of this stuff. There's just certain things you just should not be sharing with anybody. I was going to talk about it, this too, but also your health. There's just certain things that you just got to keep to yourself as well. And I know I didn't really include it in there, but just like things you get done to your body, things you do for your, you know, your health and well-being. Now I'm starting to see more people like get more backlash for it. Like for example, people getting gastric bypass, people getting their BBLs, people getting lip fillers, Botox, facelift, Ozempic, people getting, what do you call it, rhinoplasties. Just don't say anything. And if people want to talk and speculate and constantly say, oh, this was a rhino, this was a rhinoplasty, this was a rhinoplasty, you know, instead of you just losing weight in your face, instead of you, you know, instead of them attributing it to losing weight in your face, they're saying you got a facelift. Let people talk, let them speculate, let the allegations just be compliments, and don't say anything. Because at the end of the day, if you do share that and like, you know what, yeah, I did get a BBL, oh, I did get lipo, that will open either two doors: a conversation of hate and judgment, or a conversation of envy. Envy, you know, or no, envy, judgment, and hate, or admiration. Because some people will want to just know exactly what you did in order to get there, but other people will low-key be envious that they can't do it and then try to judge you and hate on you for it. So it just opens a door that I just personally like to keep closed, and I hope that you would like to keep closed. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know what type of things you want me to talk about in the comment section down below. Let me know what stood out to you the most, and I'll see you guys in the next Pretty Girl Talk. Bye.